ChatGPT 5 is a complete superpower for you as a business. It can do so much more for you. It's so much smarter, it's so much more sophisticated, and many people aren't actually utilizing that. This may sound super simple, but actually being knowledgeable on what you're selling is a superpower. Like I said, it may sound super simple, but not many people are truly knowledgeable to the extent that they actually need to be. Being knowledgeable actually creates credibility. Like I said, it sounds simple, but not many people are knowledgeable enough when trying to start online businesses, like marketing, like trying to use AI, like trying to sell themselves to other businesses and to get them to outsource one of their core areas to them, right? So people trying to start online businesses are not knowledgeable enough. And I'm gonna be the first to say it. I was not knowledgeable enough with all the other stuff I tried in the past before I started a marketing agency. And even then, I wasn't as knowledgeable as I could have been. So you actually knowing and being knowledgeable doesn't give you credibility in just knowing. It does through you being able to express yourself, being able to articulate the core principles of your business, how you and your service will be able to help another business if you're B2B, or how your product could help a consumer or is valuable in some sort of way if you're B2C. You know, even stuff like just using technical jargon, right? That people don't need to know. Say, if you're in AI automation, you can say JSON files. So you can say to a business, we'll create you a custom JSON file to fix your... I don't even know what that is, if I'm going to be honest. I know what the gist of it is, but I don't know fully. That little sentence and that little technical lingo you just used will create credibility because it sounds like you know what you're talking about. But then also being knowledgeable helps you in the sales aspect of things. There are no more ums, there are no more repeating yourselves, there are no more saying obviously when things aren't obvious because you're trying to conjure up something in your mind and explain it technically and have some sort of cop-out. So that brings me to on how you become knowledgeable, right? It's not actually as complex as you think. You don't need to go to school. You don't need to buy someone's course. You don't need to. There are millions and millions of hours of free value on the internet. You have Hormozi, you have Imam, and some of his earlier stuff. But there are millions of hours of free resources from people that have created multi-million-dollar brands, people who have been ahead of the curve of AI, who have made their money and now want to just give free resources. Maybe it's a selfish motivation from those people because they want to build their personal brand or they want to give value to attract people in, and then they buy their course or they buy the service that they sell through being an authoritative figure. The free value they give you is still very valuable to you. I've said value a lot then, so I'm going to stop saying value. So what is it that you actually need to be knowledgeable on? You need to be knowledgeable, especially when you're starting, on absolutely everything. You need to be knowledgeable on outreach, marketing, client interactions, sales, onboarding, client experience, at the base of it all, your product, and client results. Why you actually need to be knowledgeable on all those things, especially when you're starting out, is because you'll be able to answer questions, you'll be able to give details, and you'll be able to give a roadmap to the client or the prospect that you're trying to sign. This will then disarm them in having their, you're trying to sell me something, oh, but I don't trust you. And then you become something like an authoritative figure who knows exactly what they're talking about, who has experience, who isn't just trying to shake them down or just get a quick payment and deliver your service 6:30 because you understand everything. They could ask you questions on onboarding and you have the answer. They could ask you questions on the actual technical aspect of it. How does the actual product or service work? Not just the return that they get, but how the actual automation works, how you've seen it being used in other businesses, the results that they've gotten. Preparation kills the imposter syndrome. You don't actually second guess yourself because you are sure of the information that you're spitting out to someone. And your subconscious tone is perfect. You are sure of yourself when you're talking to someone, when you're selling yourself, when you're on a sales call. You aren't unsure. You aren't scared for what question they're going to ask next because you don't know, you might not know the answer. You are sure of yourself. You know what you're selling, and you can ultimately sell better because you know buyer fears. And then being knowledgeable in your service and your fulfillment will pay dividends because you actually get results. So now, what has actually sparked me telling you this, making this video, sitting down and just talking to a camera? A few days ago, I decided with a friend of mine, I'm going to call him a co-founder now, that we're going to pivot out of digital marketing into AI solutions. And at the start of the next day, after we had built the parameters for our partnership and set boundaries and outlined how it would all work, it was very hard for me to start the day, because with marketing, I knew enough. I had clients, I had stuff to do. I knew exactly what needle moving activities were. But with AI, I didn't. So what did I start doing? And I've never really done this before. I've never really gone onto online resources and actually sat down, taken notes, ingested the information from these people who have built $100 million companies. So I started building my knowledge on what I'm actually building, on what we're selling, on the service that we're providing. I started to learn sales. I'm okay at sales. I can talk well on the phone when I know enough about the product, about the service. I know I can do it well. I can talk fine. I looked into sales, specific sales training. So I watched a Hormozi video. I sat there with my notebook open with a pen, watching this big 2.5 hour video, taking notes, trying stuff for myself, highlighting stuff, circling stuff, watching parts again. Even the platforms and the software that we use, even something as baseline as learning the new use cases for ChatGPT 5. ChatGPT 5 is a complete superpower for you as a business. It can do so much more for you. It's so much smarter, it's so much more sophisticated, and many people aren't actually utilizing it to its full capabilities because they don't know how, and they don't care enough to spend 2 hours and watch 4, 5, 6 different videos on the use cases for ChatGPT, which could exponentially grow their business. So look, I know I hinted at I'm pivoting away from marketing and going into AI. I'll say this, I spotted a gap in the market, I created something, and I sat in that gap, and I'm not moving. Stay tuned for what's next.